Hello, everybody. Rob Cootie here of the MLM Solution. Today, I hope everybody had a great weekend. Today is Monday, May 10th, and it's currently 10:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you know, we go live each and every day, as you can see in the ticker, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a very interesting subject today. Where's the money? Phase 1, 2, or how about number 3? Did you know there was 3 distinct phases of growth for a company? Do you know where most of the money is available? Do you know anything about the growth phases, how long they last, when the transition happens, and whether there's any money there that's worth your effort, your time, your reputation? Well, we're going to take a deep dive into those questions during this show. If you will, please have our fellow network marketers across the globe learn this information as well. You can do that by simply taking a few seconds to share hashtag the MLM Solution. That's hashtag the MLM Solution while you're out and about on the internet. Also, please promote our website. Go there, hit the share button with our fellow network marketers as well. There's a lot of great information, free gifts. We help people. We empower people to do great things with this wonderful business model. It all starts at our website and our social media platforms. All right, with that being said, I'm going to hop over here. We'll see you very shortly. I'm running out of time.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Cootie.
Well, Miss Marie.
Woo! Happy Monday, bringing the funk with that countdown. What is up with that? I like it.
Well, it's something that I worked on during the weekend, and it's rough. I'm going to have a professional tidy it up a little bit, but that's the basics of what we're going to be having in the future. And as you know, Miss Marie, there's a lot of great things coming down the road. I've been able to share some of them with you, and there's a lot of great stuff. We're moving forward. We're coming up on a year, and I wanted to get to certain places with our growth, and we certainly are doing that. And so it's time to step up the game.
All right.
Well, so there's a lot more surprises coming, right, Miss Marie?
I hope so.
Yes, there is. All right. Today's a great. So, well, first, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fabulous. How about yourself?
It's been very good. Just to let everybody know, we're going to be talking about an important subject today: money. 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 The wife gets so mad at me because I'm so focused on money. It's not that money is my God. It's that I enjoy making money. So I find it enticing, intriguing, invigorating. So it's a scorecard, if you will.
Yep. I was just going to say it's a good way to keep score is what money is.
It is. But I do not compare my bank account with anybody else's. You know, I just enjoy what I'm doing. And that's all I can say. So that with that being said, as you know, I have a serious personal issue going on with one of my animals. So I want to let everybody know that if I get a phone call, Miss Marie's taking over. Okay. Because I cannot afford to miss this phone call. All right. With that being said, we're going to talk about, once again, making money. And that's what this is all about. Look, it's only one or two things because, you know, we can leave personal freedom out of the equation for certain conversations. Personal freedom is just as important, if not more important, as the rest of them, based on individual people. Okay. When I'm talking about the results and what I want from this business model, mainly mine is the money. It's not because I enjoy making money and it's a way to keep score. It's because I realize it gives me options. As Miss Marie says all the time, it gives me great options. Okay. It gives me the ability to pay how would you say, any amount of money to take care of my kids, my grandkids, and my animals. all right, without hurting my ability to live the life I want. Those are great options. And so money creates the lifestyle that I want. And I know how much I have to make per month in order for me to maintain that lifestyle. And that includes investments, and that includes paying taxes, and that includes trips, and that includes a nice little bonus little gift for me, if you will, or the wife every once in a while. We're not extravagant in our spending by no means. We've done all the extravagant spending, Miss Marie. As you know, I enjoy the nice and beautiful cars, nice and beautiful homes, nice clothes. We've talked about that. It's not about me. That's my taste. That's my personality. I like pretty things. Okay, always have. And so I tend to surround myself with prettier things than the wife does. She could care less about a car. she could care less, about a house as long as it's livable. And I don't mean like a shack, but I mean, she doesn't need the lifestyles of the rich and famous type home is the best way to put it. She's happy that it's nice, and that people will feel comfortable being there. It's in a safe neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. So we're from two totally ends of the spectrum. I like for a house to be engaging. Like I like my house to be an entertainment center, Miss Marie. I want my grandkids to come over. I want to play tennis. I want to play basketball. I want to play horseshoes. What's that other thing where they throw the bags in there? What is that called?
Well, depends on where you're from. Beanbag toss, cornhole.
Cornhole. There we go. All right. Yeah. And believe it or not, building a sled for the winter, a sledding venue. So we have to, I want my house to be an entertainment center along with a pool with the grandkids and the great grandkids. They come over. We have kids' toy, swing sets and all that. And we have a sand pit. Those things, I want them when they come, I want them to leave and say, wow, that was great. That was as good as an amusement park. That brings great joy to me. And so I have a totally different idea than other people. You can see, well, you got to have the money to support that, correct? So if I'm looking for a new network marketing company, what am I going to do, Miss Marie? I'm going to look at my lifestyle. I'm going to say, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I need to create. And that tells me, as you know, Miss Marie, we back engineer the numbers. And it tells me from day one what I need to do. Now, what has this got to do with the phases? Because it doesn't matter whether I use the numbers in network marketing or not. If I'm joining the wrong company at the wrong time, meaning it's in the wrong phase of growth, I'm not going to make that money. Right? So
well, exactly. I just have to point out here, we do talk about that a little bit in our episode called Timing is Everything also. So if you want to maybe a little bit deeper dive on that, that's a good episode to check out as well.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. And so you have to realize, guys, that there's a lot that goes into joining a new company other than just, hey, it's a new company. It's got the 5 things I'm joining. We tell you, we have a product, Miss Marie, as you know, and the product is determine the lifestyle you want to live before you join a business or a company. Okay. Determine the type of business you want to build, right, Miss Marie? Determine what it is you want from your business. And you say, well, they'll sound similar. Well, they're really not. Okay. Because you can have a lifestyle and it doesn't always say that what type of business you're going to build. Okay. And then the thing is, Miss Marie, as people get along in this business and they start making more money, they realize they can have a bigger lifestyle and it changes. So there's a different approach. And that's the reason why we touch on those different subjects. And once again, we do not like writing extra material just for the sake of writing it. Okay. We do it because we want you to understand the differences between the two. And Miss Marie, it gives you a clear picture, as we talked about before, no different than Columbus or whoever else discovered America, setting off when they thought the world was flat. They had to have a course of direction, right? And it is no different here, guys. You have to understand that this is something that is going to give you a clear path to generating the money you want and help identify the type of company you want to join. Now, we're going to give you a quick snapshot of the different growth phases of the company. Okay, because you can see it on the ticker. For all you on the podcast, it says phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 in the ticker. So let's take a quick look. This is an episode we did, as Miss Marie just alluded to. Timing, not positioning, is everything. If you don't agree with the positioning aspect, if you think we're full of it, go back and listen to that episode and understand why we say, and it's proven, that timing, in other words, the time that you join a company, is more important than the positioning. We're not going to get into that here. But as you can see, there's phase 1, 2, and 3 on this graph, okay? And you can see the years typically that a phase 1 company exists, okay? And you can see that 70% of the wealth is created in phase 1. Well, that's where the money is, right, Ms. Marie? Now,
well, that's where the opportunity for the big money is. There's money
right.
available in all 3 phases, of course. So we don't want to
Yes.
discourage anybody if you find that you're currently in a company and the company's been around for a while. There are a lot of long-term stable companies out there where you can make a decent income. Again, it depends on what your goals are. But we are talking the lifestyle changing, as Rob likes to say, drinking out of the coconut money on the beach type thing.
That's right.
You're going to want to catch a company in phase 1 early on.
That's right. Okay. Now, that being said, we're going to talk about the different phases, okay, and the transition between them, because there's, as she just stated, there's money in every one of these phases, and it's really going to boil down to what it is you want to do. Let me give you a quick example. Obviously, I'm older. If I was to join a network marketing company today, Miss Marie, I would hunt for the hottest, most fresh, green behind the ears company I could find. If it's got the 5 things and I can sink my teeth into it, I'm running balls to the walls for 2 years, minimum, maybe 3. Because Miss Marie, at 63, this would probably be my last hurrah. Not saying I got one foot in the grave. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I know what it takes, how draining this can be physically and mentally. And to be honest with you, if I spend 3 years with a new company, I'll be 66, heading on 67. And I would probably say I'm done, right, Ms. Marie? Just because I don't want to do this until I'm 70, right? So if I was to do it today, Ms. Marie, a new company would be imperative to creating the money and lifestyle that I want, okay? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if you're a young person, you're in your 20s, you're focused, you're committed, you understand the power of the network marketing business model, and you're in your 30s, whatever. Here's the thing. You can join an older company. Because, Miss Marie, I may make, God willing, $1 million in my 2 to 3 venture in this new company at 63, versus a young person that goes into Amway, New Skin, Mary Kay, Herbalife, Shackley, whatever. They use our 5 simple steps business building system. Miss Marie, they could create 100,000, maybe up to 200,000 in that old company. Okay, per year, be there for 5 years, Miss Marie, and make in 5 years what I would make in 3 years. You see what I'm saying? $1 million. Mm-hmm. Does it really matter, guys? Because see, look, time is on your side. If you build a $200,000 a year business in one of the older companies and you stay with that company for 10 years, that's over $2 million. Okay, that is a heck of a living, right, Miss Marie? Who wouldn't take $200,000 a year, right?
That's a good income for just about anyone.
Right. And here's the thing. If you build it in an older company, the phase 3 company, guys, you never have to worry about your check. You never have to worry about the comp plan changing. It is what it is. Okay. And it's all about promotion. It's all about having the right business building system. That's it. And the great thing about those older companies, Miss Marie, which we need to do a show on that, because we just brush the older companies off to the side, don't we? We never focus on them. We're always talking about the big money with the younger companies, right? And there is. But there's a lot to be said. Now, this is not about the older companies. This is about you creating the business and the income that you want. And we're talking about each one of these phases. Phase 3 companies are going to give you the ability to be with them long-term, never have to worry about anything. They have a full product line that you can choose from, meaning that it's easy to create that threshold of profitability number of 100 PV per month. everything is going in their favor outside of explosive growth. That's not happening. There's no buzz. There's no there's not a herd running towards Amway, New Skin, and all them anymore. But if you use the music to the ears message and you utilize the business model correctly, Miss Marie, you can still build a very viable and strong business that you can be proud of.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. And that's one of those areas too, where you find there is a little bit of a gender difference in people. Men tend to be a little bit more of the risk takers. You see more of them going into the brand new companies and going all in on it. Women tend to look for more things that have a little bit more stability. They're a little bit more attached to the products rather than the company, the comp plan, those types of things. Like we talk about, we don't necessarily care about the product. It's whether or not it's a quality product that has demand that the comp plan is going to support and allow you to make a good income. So there are definite differences in the personality style, I think. So you have to consider what you're comfortable with. Some people are more comfortable with risk than others. And that's the same in all situations, whether it's real estate investing, stock investing, you have people that run the gamut. So
that's right.
What we talk about in terms of, going in and getting into these newer companies with the potential for a high income and a legacy wealth position, the high risk comes with that as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You wake up every day. You don't know. That's the reason why, Miss Marie, I tell you, build it as fast as you can, make as much money as you can, as quick as you can with a new company. I mean, that's what you have to do. Speed and urgency is absolutely critical. Speed and urgency is still very important. Look, speed and urgency is important in this business model, period. Let's just make that clear. Is it critical in the phase 3 companies? No. And it doesn't mean that you should say, well, Rob said it's not important, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can you can go mad crazy in building a business in an older company and to create the speed and urgency. And you should, because you want to get it done sooner rather than later. Do not want to become a grinder. That's another reason why speed and urgency is so important. Do not become a grinder. That's one of the added benefits of having speed and urgency, that you won't be a grinder, because grinders rarely make it, and they do not attract other high quality, go get them people. They attract what? Other grinders, meaning your business is going to grind to a halt. You're going to make teaser money, as we call it. All right. So with that being said, guys, you have to still have speed and urgency. It's just that it's not as important in an older company as it is a new company. In other words, you're not going to miss out on any explosive growth. In a new company, you could miss out on $200,000 in a 3-month period or more because you didn't create the speed and urgency. All that money passed you by. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not giving up $200,000 because I was being lazy. All right. With an older company, that $200,000 is not necessarily going to pass you by. Okay. There's 1% to 3% growth with an older company. There's plenty of time for you to create that income, but you shouldn't drag your feet. All right. Enough of that. So let's talk about, phase 1. We talked about that. Let's look at the graph again real quick, just so I can reiterate what I'm talking about. Phase 1 is where 70% of the growth is created. Guys, that's self-explanatory. If you want to make a lot of money now and take the rest of your life off, like Richard Call did, many other incredible business builders, I wish I knew all their names. I could have a long list of people that have taken full advantage of this business model and the timing of the companies that they joined. Kudos to them. They are the standard. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's what you should try to replicate. If you were to sit down with me one-on-one in private with nobody else around, and you would say, Rob, what is the best game plan for me? Okay. And I would ask you a question in return. What is it that you want? And the moment you clarify what it is you want, I'm going to pick one of these 3 phases for you. But I'm going to tell you the same thing in every one of them. Get going now. Go as fast as you can. Make as much money as you can, as quick as you can. The only way you're going to be able to do that is have speed and urgency from the first step of the business building process. Now, the difference here, guys, in phase 1, you're going to have a chance to create wealth. You can see 70%. We're not talking about 70% of the money is made in phase one. We're talking about 70% of the wealth for the company and you, individuals, distributor force, whatever you want to call yourself, that are all part of the phase one growth. All of you have pretty much an equal chance to create wealth. It's all about activity at that point. Okay, so wealth creation is a real possibility. This is where a lot of these great incomes, businesses, and lifestyles are created that you guys see in the videos and read about in magazines, etc. Phase two, 20%. You can see the odds are greatly against you. Phase three, you can see the odds are tilted against you. Still a viable opportunity to create wealth. We're talking about wealth in each one of these phases. We're not talking about making money. Okay. So with that being said, the reason I bring that up is because as we talk about each one of these phases, there's a transition that takes place from phase one to phase two. We've done episodes on that transition. Matter of fact, we just did them recently, didn't we, Miss Marie? Transitional phases of a growing company. I know we did.
Well, the transitions were the transitions between the phases of your business building is what we were talking about with those transitional phases.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously I was wrong. Oh, I guess we're going to have to do one on that too. I thought we had. Okay. So that tells me what I need to do here. Look, as a company transitions from phase one to phase two, and you got to look at this chart, look at the years at the bottom. You can see that a phase one company will typically start to peak out in the phase one growth, meaning that explosive exponential growth will start to level out a little bit in year 5. And sometimes if you're lucky, it will go to year 7. I think this other graph, no, but it does a little bit better job. Okay. So you can see the growth curve taking place. The yellow line is for a new company. You can see that. The blue line is for an older company. You can see it's 1 to 5% annually at the time I made this graph. I've seen recently where it's been 1 to 3% growth. So the point is that you can see where explosive growth ends in year 10 almost exclusively. Very few companies have explosive growth from the day they open their doors until year 10. Typically, you're going to have that year 7 being the max instead of 10. Okay. Now, with that being said, you can see there's a decision line in year 3. There's a decision line in year 5. And you can see where it says explosive growth ends right there in phase 2. Okay. And it's almost in between year 5 and 7, almost at its 6-year mark. Okay. So that is a very clear indication of what we're talking about here, is that there is a transition that takes place with a new company between years 3 and 5, no later than 7 years. And you say, Rob, what do you mean? Typically, they've gone into all the international countries they want to. Typically, they've added most of the product that they want to. Every company that's smart holds a few products into their holsters that they can bring out later to create more buzz, to create excitement, to create money, etc. Okay. So very few companies expose their whole line of products in the first 1 to 3 years. And that's a smart strategy. Typically, by the time that year 3 or 5 rolls around, the comp plan is no longer going to be adjusted, if it's adjusted at all. Some don't do it at all. Some of them are really good at putting together a wonderful comp plan. But if there is any adjustments by years 5 and 7, those adjustments are pretty much done and over. So what I'm saying here, guys, is that you got a transition that happens between years 3 and 7 in a phase 1 company, meaning based on when you join that new phase 1 company, you could have a great ride of 1 to 7 years, okay, or 0 to 5 years, or 0 to 3 years, or you could join the company in year 2 of its existence and ride it to year 7. There's a lot of variations as far as timetables in those examples, as you've seen. But what happens is that in years 3, 5, and 7, the growth starts to level off. Now, the company's not going to tell you that. It's your job to monitor it, okay, because they have to make this public. All right. So the thing is, you have to look at quarterly growth. Don't look at the whole year. Look, people play with numbers, okay? Numbers can be manipulated. Look at quarterly growth. It's hard for a company, unless they outright lie It's hard for a company to lie about the quarterly goals and the quarterly results. Okay. That's what I encourage you to focus in on. That's going to give you some indication, a real accurate, mostly accurate indication of what's going on. Okay. So with that being said, you're going to start to notice in years 3 to 5 to 7 in those areas a leveling off. That's when Miss Marie and I did a show called the Hokey Pokey. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what you need to go back and listen to that episode. That's what we're referring to in these transitional periods. See, you transition from phase 1 into phase 2 is different for every company. It could happen as early as year 3. And you said, well, gosh, that's really young, Rob. How in the world could that be? Because a lot of companies, Miss Marie, as we know, go out of business. And just because they make it past year 5, which is typically when 90-something% of companies don't make it past year 5. Guys, just because they make it past year 5 doesn't guarantee that they're going to be around forever. They can make it to year 7, and let's say they make it to year 7.5, and all of a sudden they're gone. Okay? Meaning that company's growth leveled off or started leveling off in year 3. And as year 7 rolled around, they were really struggling because all the revenue stopped, Miss Marie. And expenses don't, every day inflation hits everything. It could be gradual, it could be aggressive, it could be moderate. You don't know. And the thing is, if you're making the same, there's an old saying in business, if you're not growing, you're dying. Because what happens is not only does inflation, but all the other dynamic variables in the business world have an eroding effect on your profits. Okay. So if a company starts to level off in year 3, guess what? That company's got problems. You better start doing the hokey pokey right then. See? And because Rob knows this information and Rob monitors this information when he's with a new company, guess what? I have 1 foot in, I have 1 foot out because the information is telling me that this company could go out of business anytime, and I will not allow that to happen to me or my downline. We're all here to make money, and I cannot allow this to happen to them, especially if I find out there's another company, a new company that is experiencing tremendous growth. I would be doing an injustice to myself and my people to not make a move, right, Miss Marie?
Well, absolutely. And for those who, think you should have some sort of loyalty to the company, I would say even in the corporate world anymore, there's not the loyalty to the company that there used to be in our parents' generation, right? You don't start working for a company and that's where you spend your entire career anymore. People are much more focused on their own individual career advancement. I would think of this in the same way. It's like, what company is going to serve you best in your wealth building activity using the network marketing business model? So that's one of the things you definitely want to be keeping an eye on. And that's why that Hokey Pokey episode is a particularly good one to go a little bit more in depth on that.
Right. And also watch the episode, The Company's Not Your Friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that will clarify what it is she's talking about. I can promise you from my own personal experience, I cannot speak for Miss Marie. There are many examples where the company will get rid of you, and it's written in the bylaws where they will get rid of people if they deem it necessary for their own survival's sake. All right, with that being said, so you can understand now, since I've made it clear that phase 1 has no definite timeline when it comes to an end. It goes into that transitional phase. Okay, so when a company transitions from one phase to the other, Rob, is there money available? Yes. But you have to realize that it is now, if you take a look, if you phase 1, and you see where that yellow block is also intersecting with the red block, you can see that there's a small corner of intersection there. Guys, that's because that opportunity to make that kind of money, that wealth money, that window's very narrow. In other words, that window's closing. And that's what's happening there. If the window was still big, I would have made the yellow block intersect with the red block in a bigger way. But I had to represent the truth, and the truth is, as a company starts to transition, that wealth possibility for all of us is going like this, because sales are flattening out, okay, to a certain degree. Now, New Skin, as I have said many times and used it as an example many times, they were what they call a hyper growth company. They were in the same league as back in those days as Microsoft, Nike, et cetera, who all those companies, there was a lot of them. I think it was a top 10 list of the hyper growth companies. And New Skin was the only network marketing company experiencing hyper growth, meaning it was explosive growth year after year for 10 years minimum. All right. That is astronomical. It's mind-boggling. That was a wild ride. Okay. And once again, it all started with Richard Call. He was the engine that drove New Skin growth. Okay. Now, with that being said, that is a highly unusual, because what happened there, Miss Marie, phase one lasted for almost 10 years before it phased into phase two, or it transitioned into phase two. Because, Miss Marie, the only time phase two starts is when the sales start going like this. It's still growing, but instead of growing 110% a year, it's now down to 50-something%. That's still a heck of a percentage, but it's not 110. You see what I'm saying? So what happens, Miss Marie? All that money at 110 has shrunk down to 55. So there's not enough money to go around to create more multimillionaires, right? Mm-hmm. There's not that much growth coming in. There's not that much money. Okay. When it was like this, there might have been 1,000 people that were capable of grabbing their piece of the pie and becoming wealthy. I'm using numbers just off the top of my head. But as it's shrunk down, that 1,000 people went down to maybe 400. In other words, 400 people that are either going to be joining the business during New Skin during phase two, or already in it and really just starting to take off, will have the capability of creating wealth. And then when it goes into phase three, it shrinks down because the annual growth is shrinking. The money is not there. You got to realize a lot of the money that they're made, let's say New Skin makes $4 billion a year. Guys, their operating expenses are going to be in the $3 billion a year. Okay. They're trying to clear making $300 or $400 million when all the dust settles. Okay. So it's not like there's a ton of money sitting out there, they make $4 billion a year. There's plenty of money available. Well, good luck with that. There's a reason why. And I have seen many top-notch business builders, Miss Marie, go to the older companies only to quit within a year. Many. Okay. Because they wanted the big money, Miss Marie, when they realized the big money was no longer there and that they could not recreate that enthusiasm, that excitement, that buzz. Reality smacked them in the face. They're like, oh crap, I need to find me a new company because this ain't working. And I could tell you story after story, many people who thought they could conquer the old companies. But if you go in with the right mindset and you say, I'll be happy with 50,000 next year, 100,000, 150,000, maybe 200,000 max. And yes, there are times you can create $1 million a year with the old companies. Miss Marie, I really, truly believe, I can't speak for you, but I truly believe that I could create anywhere from 250,000 to $1 million a year in one of the older companies. As long as it has a product line that I can create that 100 PV per month and I sponsor the right people, there's a realistic chance. And then what I have to do, Miss Marie, I have to use the excitement and the buzz of the success stories in my downline to generate the momentum that's necessary to get to that point. The bad thing is there's not enough room in annual growth for many of my downline to experience that same possible $1 million a year income. Does that make sense?
Well, that does make sense. And in that case, if you're going into an established company, you're almost creating your own growth trajectory within the company. What we talk about, joining up with the phase one company and the whole importance of speed and urgency is to create a growth trajectory within your own sales organization, which is also combining with the company's natural growth trajectory. That's right. And that's where the wealth gets built, right?
That's right.
So in an established company, the company's no longer growing. They're just kind of maintaining and ticking along, maybe growing a little bit. So you're overlaying your own growth trajectory, but you can't get that exponential effect because the growth trajectory of the company has kind of leveled out.
Exactly. And what happens, guys, you say, well, Rob, this makes a little bit of sense, but it really doesn't explain it all. Look, in a phase one company, your downline, multiple people in your downline have to have the ability to create wealth too. If Rob stops at $1 million a year, what if one of my downlines says, hey, that ain't enough for me. I want $1.5 million. And let's say they go after it and make it. And then I got another person that says, well, I want 1.5 million too, and they end up making 900,000 a year. Guess what? If I have built the right business, which we teach you, guess what? I'm getting a lot of that money that they're creating. So that's how I can create wealth. It's not about Rob doing a measly $1 million a year myself. It's about me empowering my downline, multiple downline people to go after their own wealth creation. And the more people that go, Miss Marie, and make $500,000 a year or more, the more money Rob makes, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a realistic chance of creating wealth, and so do they, because the piece of pie is so big. But that story changes with an older company. There's a lot of people that when I sponsor, Rob, do I have the ability to create wealth? I need $1 million a year. I'd be lying to them if I look in the eye and said, yes, you can do that with Amway right now, because I know the odds are against them. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It means it's against them, okay? It would take everything I have with my knowledge, my experience, and my business building system to make $1 million a year in Amway. I think it's possible still, but there's been many people that have tried and it failed, but they don't have the business building system that we do, which is very efficient and very effective and can be utilized anywhere. But we're realistic about it. We always tell you, don't go into an old company with the same expectations as you do with a new company. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Ms. Marie, I guess down the road, we ought to talk about a phase 2 company in greater detail, and the older companies too. There's a couple more episodes because we really haven't focused on those because there's still money available in phase 2, and we need to clarify, what needs to happen. Obviously, you're going to use the 5 simple steps, guys, but the bottom line is timing and urgency becomes critically important in a phase 2 company. It really does. All right. So with that being said, let's get back to the transitions. Look, there's still money. I showed you that here a moment ago. I'm just going to throw up on screen where the yellow intersects the red block. You can see how small that is. During a transition, there is money there. Okay. And you say, well, Rob, it's such a small piece of the corner there. It is. And here's why. When a company goes from phase 1 to phase 2, you don't know how big phase 2 is going to be because you don't know how many more products they're going to come out with. You don't know how many more countries they're going to go into. The big part of the tail end, like you can see where the yellow block goes to about year 14. The reason that block is in that category is because you don't know when it transitions in year 5, just how big phase 2 is going to be. Is it going to last to year 14? Or are they aggressively going to blow their wad in the first 3 years when they go into international expansion and there is nothing left over from year 7 to year 14? Okay. That means there would be an early phase 3 level out. Okay. Because they were so aggressive in their international growth. Nobody can tell you that. But what we can tell you is that during that transition from phase 1 to phase 2, there's money to be made, okay? Meaning that if you join this new company in year 4, and let's say this company is fortunate to be around until year 7, and in year 7, I can almost guarantee you, if not earlier, it's going to start going into phase 2 growth. I mean, it's just, it happens more than it doesn't, okay? And we talk about the exceptions, such as Amway, Nu Skin, et cetera. They were all part of the 80s explosive growth. The industry exploded in the 80s. And so when we talk about, and we refer to the older companies, we're talking about, as we talked about before, Miss Marie, you and I could have gone from one company to the other and almost not miss a beat. It was that much explosive growth around the world, almost every company. It was an amazing time. That's not the case now, Miss Marie. You and I would have to be very selective and very careful going from one company to another. And you and I in today's environment would have to monitor every phase because it could change on a dime in today's world. And we would have to be very selective when we decide to go to a new company. So there is money in a transitional phase. When a company gets from a phase 2 to phase 3, as you can see here, it's still, as you can notice, the transition corners there that intersect between the yellow and green boxes is a little bit smaller, okay? And there again, it's hard to predict this. You got to realize these graphs are an indication of what's happened in the past. And it's hard to predict the future with growth with companies. But that little corner intersection there is a little bit smaller. Why? Because once again, as if a company's fortunate enough to be around 10, 11, 12, 13 years more, that money that's available gets smaller and smaller. Okay. I wish it wasn't true. I wish it was, there was money available all the time, regardless of company that you join, but it's just not it's not realistic to think that way, and it's not possible. But here's the thing, is we do not throw the older companies under the bus. We're not backpedaling. We're not being silly here. It's all about your mindset. It's all about what you want. That's the reason why we have the materials. Determine the lifestyle you want before building your business. Determine what it is you want from your business. Do you want money to pay off debt and to pay off college debt or send your kids to college? That's a totally different mindset than developing a lifestyle, right, Ms. Marie? So the lifestyle ebook and materials focus on what? The lifestyle that you want to create. The other materials, what do you want from your business, focuses in on what is it that you want your business to do, right, Ms. Marie? Do you just want extra money so you can take vacations? Do you want to pay for your kids' college? That's totally different than a lifestyle, right?
Well, absolutely. And again, this goes back to determining why you're getting into the business, what your personal goals, dreams are, and what you're actually working towards. So
yes,
all those things, again, we have episodes we've talked about many of those subjects in the past as well in more detail, but that all comes into play here. This isn't cookie cutter by any means. No. And again, this is why we talk from the aspect of, hey, we're shooting for the stars, because even if you miss, you still land on the moon, and you're making a far better income, lifestyle, time freedom than you had been previously.
That's right.
So we kind of talk from the go big, go home perspective. Yeah. But again, that doesn't necessarily apply to everyone. You may have more finite goals. You may want to, earn an income over the next 5 years that will allow you to buy your dream home and retire.
That's right.
And then you're good. I mean, everyone is different. So those are things you need to determine for yourself. But in order to leverage the network marketing industry to work the most effectively for you to help you achieve those goals and dreams, you need to understand these different aspects that we're talking about. That's so right. You know whether or not you have the potential to achieve what you're after. And so you have the knowledge and understanding of how to make it work best for you in your situation.
Absolutely. And to summarize everything, guys, and bring this episode to a close, look, where's the money? The money is in phase 1, sometimes in phase 2, based on when you join the company. Okay. You also, part of the answer is this. It all boils down to what you want. Okay. I agree with Miss Marie. If you were to sit down with us, if you were fortunate enough to sit in a room with us, or we were to do a live event and all of you raise your hand and say, when's the best time to join a company, or what is the best approach, whatever the case may be, our answer would be from stage, regardless of where you are, regardless of what you want from your business, regardless of the lifestyle that you're trying to attain, our answer is always going to be the same, because it's so hard to catch lightning in a bottle. There's so many dynamics that have to come together to create that synergy that allows you to build the momentum that you so desperately need in your business. We're going to say, join a new company, ride it like a wild bronco, go as fast as you can, build as fast as you can, make as much money as quick as you can, and set yourself up for the rest of your life. Because if you make that kind of money, you can pay for college, you can buy a home, you can pay for the cars, you can invest that money. Okay? Because you don't know when lightning in a bottle is going to hit again. So if you have it at your fingertips, our answer to you from stage is always going to be, ride that wild bronco as far as you can, as quick as you can. Get it over with and make as much money as you possibly can. Right, Ms. Marie? That takes care of everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. But if you're older and you've already done that and you want to get back in the industry, then guess what? And you're not worried about the money per se, but it'd be nice to have some extra money because you're in the retirement phase of your life. Well, guess what? A phase 3 company may be your answer. And it's not so much about the money, even though it is about the money. It's about that money supplementing the lifestyle that you already have. And maybe that's what you need. You don't want that wild ride of that bunking bronco known as a new company, right, Miss Marie? They may not have the fortitude for it. or the energy or the focus.
Exactly. And there may not be the desire to do that, as you said, balls to the walls for 2 or 3 years and really put in that time and effort.
That's right.
They may want to do a scaled back version, and that's
right.
entirely acceptable. It just depends
Absolutely.
on your own personal situation.
Absolutely. And you know what, Miss Marie, if I was going to go into an old company today at 63 years old, you know what I would do? I would target people that were 60 or below, say 45 to 60. You know what I would do? If you're worried about your retirement, I got an answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. I'd stay away from the young people. I'd focus on those people that are like, oh, crap, my retirement's staring me in the face in the next 15 years. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And start building a business with those people, because they would be like, I got something. I can build a retirement. And you see, guys, it's all about focusing on the right product. What is the product in this scenario? Their retirement. It's not the product. Get away from the freaking product. It's not that. In a new company, it's about the financial opportunity it's presenting you, which is create wealth. In an older company, it's about security, right, Miss Marie?
Mm-hmm.
And it's you got to sell the lifestyle of that person. If I target people 45 and above, what do you think their concern is? To pay off their debt and retire. Okay?
Oh.
They're not looking to give up their job. Most of them, Miss Marie, have been in their job for 20-something years. They're not looking to leave at this point. But by golly, they need some money to put into their retirement account that's been taking a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, I'm telling you, it's all about the story you create. That's your product. That is your product. All right. So the money in phase 1, there's tons of it. Phase 2, there's less than tons of it, but there's still a lot of it. Phase 3, there's very little of tons or enough. Okay. It's, how would you say? I won't say minuscule, because it's certainly not minuscule, but it's a little versus a lot. Okay. It goes from this down to this. All right. So, but there's still a lot to be said. We'll do future episodes on the phase 2 and 3 companies, but there is money in the transitions. I showed you that. But based on an unknown future, the money that's available in the transitions could be coming to an end. So if you start noticing a company is leveling off and you think, hey, I'm still making the same amount of money I was making 6 months ago, and this company is certainly leveling off in their quarterly sales, be prepared. That's all I got to say. Because sooner rather than later, your income may start to take us a little bit of a nosedive. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because people in your downline who are go-getters are losing money too. And guess what happens, Miss Marie, when those people who learn how to build a business are losing money? Miss Marie may have the staying power to stay with the company. I doubt it. She's not attached to the company. But guess what? Her downline's like, Miss Marie, I'll see you later. I'm out of here. I'm starting to lose money, and I need to make this money. I cannot afford to go backwards. And it's obvious that because Miss Marie, after 3 months of losing money, steadily, not big, may not be anything big, but if you're losing $1,000 first month and all of a sudden $1,800 the next month, and then it might be $1,800 the third month, fourth month, it goes to 2, you're like, oh crap, what is going on? Right?
Yep. Not trending in the correct direction.
And so I'm not telling you leave in 3 or 4 months. What I'm saying is it's going to raise your antennas real fast, and you're going to be keeping a very watchful eye and probably making a few calls to the corporate office. So
exactly.
All right, guys, that's enough. We've taken enough time, more than enough time. All right, real quick, as always, go to our website, please, please, please. The numbers are still impressive. They're slowing down a little bit, but they're still very impressive. And guess what? Click the link at the top. It says podcast replay. Go there, get your free book. No shenanigans. Just fill out the form. There is no shenanigans. We've said that over and over and over. We're not going to try and sell you with our email system. All right. You're going to get a free gift. And it's a powerful gift. It changes all the time. But you can listen to the whole week replay right there on that page. And that being said, also understand, guys, that you have the ability to, let's see here, get the what not to do, almost missed it. Right there, what not to do in network marketing, $197 normally, but we're discounting it so you can get exposure to our wonderful information. We want you to learn firsthand what we bring to the table for you. We want to empower you to do great things. It all starts with information like this. We're giving you $150 instant savings, only $47 for the next 24 hours. It is a limited offer. 146 paragraphs, 146 audio files, and many training videos with that. And lastly, don't forget about becoming a beta tester for our website. Our lead generation site down the road. You can get a free book, I Need Leads Now. Very informative about leads, what kind of leads you need, how many of them, et cetera, are going to be in that wonderful document. Once again, just fill out the form. No shenanigans there either. It'll put you, when you fill out the form, it's going to put you on the beta test list. Nothing more. Okay, we'll keep you updated about the progress of the lead site, but that is it. All right, Miss Marie, with that being said, it's time to get off of here. We've taken up way too much time. Did not mean to go this far. So with that being said, how about if we get off of here?
Sounds good. I'll see you 11 a.m. tomorrow, which is Tuesday. We're going to be talking about treating it like the business that it is.
There it is. You can see it on the ticker for all you on the podcast. Tomorrow's subject, which is going to be May 11th, is going to be treated like the business it is. A lot of people don't, Miss Marie. It's sad. Sad. I don't know why, but oh well. All right. Talk to you tomorrow, Miss Marie.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, themlmsolution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.